So have y'all seen the video with Sha'Carri Richardson and the incident between her and her boyfriend? Well, I know a lot of people are like, caught up when it comes to looking at the incident or even the arrest video that's now out. However, I don't just look at the surface. I look between things. And so what I noticed most was in the arrest part where, she's speaking with the officers and the young lady seems to really be completely disconnected to the justice system when it comes to the difference between men and women and assaults and who should take blame for, whoever role was done. And, she was speaking about, well, let me just say, as a mental health professional, the main thing I focused on was how tangent she was. And a lot of people might look at that video and be like, oh, she was panicking. No, that video, the arrest video, is like 34 minutes. I'm going to put a link in the description, as well as a link to the actual assault incident. But that video is like 35 minutes. From the beginning of the video, even when the officers first approached her and her boyfriend, she was talking. They were trying to explain things to her. And I will say the officer that took her in, that was like actually taking her, driving her to the jail, kudos to that officer. He was patient. He was trying to answer all of her questions. And I think he kind of understood that it appeared very apparent that she had some type of issue when it came to really cognitive development when it comes to her understanding and comprehension of things. So some of what I noticed was when she was discussing how the officers was talking to her, and then the officers were talking to him, she felt like they was taking his side. And there was a lot of times where she would say that, y'all not even listening to me as a woman. As a man, how am I the one that ends up getting locked up and he a whole man? How am I getting arrested? I'm not resistant. Like, she would constantly say things out of order, meaning like, even saying like, I'm not resisting. When she was sitting already in the back of the cop's vehicle, on their way in transport to the jail, she's still, making the comment of, I'm not resisting. And he's, validating that, well, you were very, calm with us. You've been very cooperative, ma'am. But the way that statement that she was saying it was out of timing. It was out of context. It had nothing to do with the setting in which she was in. Watch the video. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Watch the video. And as a mental health professional, at first, when I first watched the video, the arrest video, the main thing that I was thinking about was, or at least the thought that came in my head was, somebody has completely failed this young lady when it comes to informing her about basic life skills and basic ways in which society runs, even when it comes to the justice system. She was making a comment of how basically she kind of felt like because he was the man, that, the boyfriend should have been considered the perpetrator. And then it was things where like she would ask the officer, over and over again, can I get out? Can I get a bond? How am I going to get out? Well, now I got to wait for a judge to make a decision. Can I pay to get out? Can he come and vouch for me to get me out? She really did not comprehend or understand the process of everything that was happening to her. And that officer was trying so hard to explain it to her, but for whatever reason, it's like she could not grasp it. So initially, yes, I was like, somebody failed this young lady. They really did give her any information on how things run out here in the real world. But as I continue to look at the video, I realized that there is some cognitive impairment there. I don't think it's just a lack of skill development or information or even exposure. I think it's more so her inability to grasp certain things. Even when the officer was trying to explain things to her, even the multiple officers were trying to explain things to her, they were respectful, but they definitely tuned her out at some point because she kept being redundant with certain statements over and over and over again. I mean, it's kind of like something that you would see in somebody who might have been on some type of narcotic or inebriated in some way from some type of substance where it might be hard for them to grasp information that's being talked to them about, or stuff that someone may be trying to explain to them. But it's like for this young lady, it really was not clicking. There were a lot of what we call in the mental health field as distortions. She was having a lot of distorted viewpoints and ideas and what we say ideations, but thoughts that just did not match to what reality actually is. And I don't know if it was her age. I mean, I really don't know I don't know her family personally. I don't know her personally. I can only go by what I saw to be a repeated pattern. And patterns typically display people's true selves as far as who they really are. So when someone has a pattern about something, that's embedded in their thread, that's in their makeup, that's in their individual blueprint. Anything can happen once, but when it's redundant, when it's a pattern, well, that shows a little bit of who you is, who you are. But listen, I'm gonna just be me today, so I'm gonna speak how I want to speak. But openly speaking about this, I just, I want to just say that it's individuals like this situation and how she expressed things and how she was stating certain things that can be dangerous for men, because she really didn't understand how her actions toward him in the airport, that incident even resulted in her going to jail. It's like she did not understand it. She kept talking about it being an argument with my boyfriend, arguing with my boyfriend. That's not the reason why you're going to jail, sweetheart. And she really couldn't understand it. She couldn't. In her mind, it's just like, well, this just two people in a relationship having an argument, having a disagreement. But no, you put your hands on them. And so I also want to mention in this video that man or woman, if you put your hand on the other person, that's assault. It doesn't make it, any better of who put their hands on who. And that other person who got their hands put on has a right to defend themselves. So yes, ladies, if you put your hand on a man and you decide you want to go upside his head, or you decide you want to come at him with a weapon, a 2x4, whatever you decide to come at him as, he has a right to defend himself, which means he can knock your head clean off and decide that I need to defend myself. Now, does it make it right? No. Does it make the situation at all any better? No. But women, you cannot just go around just beating on men, expecting nothing to happen to you because his mama raised him not to put his hands on women. Young man, men out there, older, whatever old you are, however your age is, you are not supposed to tolerate a female putting their hands on you. That is not something you have to tolerate. So if she coming at you, putting her hands on you, you have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to lock her clean up. So, it just... We got to get out these delusions, man, and stop teaching it wrong to your children, man, for real, because they ain't doing nothing but passing that BS along. It's like telephone, the game telephone back in the day. You start with one message, and then by the time you get all the way down the line, it's a completely different, distorted viewpoint. The whole statement is completely done. It's been so deciphered and misconstructed, like it's not even what it originated as. So can we please teach not only our children, but one another, that it's not okay to just go out here and decide because I'm having an incident or issue or an emotional disturbance that it is okay for me to put my hands on somebody. That is not true. It is not accurate, and we need to stop with it because someone has a right to defend themselves. And secondly, can we please make sure that we are discussing with our young ladies that it has nothing to do with someone being a man, that they should now be considered just ultimately as the issue when the police arrive. And to take accountability for our roles, male or female, to take accountability for your role in the incident that has occurred. It's so easy to point blame at somebody else. And I get that it can be hard to take accountability, but until you do, you will never learn from it. You will just continue to repeat the same cycle over and over again. Let's learn from our mistakes. My name is Lavender, y'all. This is LAVI Program, which also means Lasting Autonomy and Valued Individuals. I am a licensed QMHP, which means Qualified Mental Health Professional in the state of Virginia. And I also am a virtual life coach, and this is my page, my platform. If you would like an individual session with me, information and details are also below. All my contact information is below. All of the platforms that I am on or below. And if you need that extra assistance and some real talk, somebody to really talk to you about what it is and not sugarcoat things, because I don't have time for that, hit me up. And if not, I understand that too. I ask that you support the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and y'all have a good rest of your day. Let's take accountability, y'all, because we too old for this. Bye, y'all.